Hey English 102 and welcome to week 6 of our class. You're going to start working this week on your first longer essay, and it will be a basic literary analysis based on some of the stuff that we've been looking at in the Norton so far. So you're going to stay focused on a single text, and you are going to close read it and analyze it in terms of one of the literary devices that we've been looking at. There's a number of stories to choose from. It's not super different than what you've been doing in your reader responses, but it's more focused and more sustained. I do not want you to do research for this essay. I want you really to stay focused on the text, and then you're going to add a research source a little bit later. So as you're starting in this week, you really want to stay focused on what you can gather from the text that you've chosen to write about, and then you'll add the research later. And I give an example of that in my lecture for the week, which is on Ernest Hemingway's story, Hills Like White Elephants. So first of all, just going back to last week, I want to say sorry that so many of you didn't get my comments on your reader response number 1. I will email those to you if you still haven't gotten them. I'm not sure what's going on. There was an update to Blackboard a couple of weeks ago, and there's still a few little glitches. So we're investigating along with TELS what's going on with that email function. But for now, I will send you your comments for reader response number 2 through a different system so that hopefully you'll be able to see those. But just keep letting me know if you're sending me emails that I'm not responding to, or if you're not getting something that I say I've sent to you in the announcements, because that just sort of helps me know what's going on. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on. So that's from last week. In general, in the reader responses that I was commenting on, I saw some analysis happening, but not necessarily moving that next step to argument. So you might be saying something specific about the characters or the theme, not the theme, the characters or or a symbol, but then you're not connecting it to a larger argument about the text. And the question that you need to ask in order to do that is, what is the author's intention, or what is the meaning of this story, or what is the purpose of this story? What is the reader supposed to get out of it? So those are larger questions that you got to connect your analysis of this one aspect of the text to something larger that you want to say about the text as a whole. And so making that move, that jump from analysis to argument, is really important for having a strong thesis statement that will carry through all of your paragraphs in your essay, whether it's a short essay like a reader response or a longer essay like the one you're going to start this week. So there is an example of that in my analysis that I'm doing of Hills Like White Elephants in the lecture for this week. So make sure to watch that video. It will be not only about structuring that first essay, but giving you an example of how I do literary analysis. It's kind of what takes place if we were having lecture in class, right? So please watch that. It's important. And don't forget that you want to print out and refer to often the assignment sheet for your essay. Don't just read through it once and say, oh, I get what it is, and then not refer to it again. It has the answers there for a lot of questions, potentially. So I suggest printing it out, highlighting it, seeing if you have any questions about it, and sending those to me before you even really get started on your pre-writing. So when you want to read that assignment sheet, click on the thing that says assignment sheet to open up the document, and then you are going to work on your pre-writing. First, you need to select a story, read it carefully, probably more than once, and then move on to doing the pre-writing. So you're going to open up that pre-writing document, and you're going to save it to your own computer as an RTF, and then you're going to fill it in right there on your computer, save it, and then submit it back to me. And that'll have your tentative thesis and kind of a basic outline, not really. And you are going to start thinking about your research for that pre-writing. But first I want you to really think, while you're writing your thesis, about what's in the story itself. And then you are going to send that back to me, and then you're going to contribute to the voice thread, and there's a screencast video showing you how to work the voice thread, and you will need to sign up for an account in order to participate, and you're just going to share your tentative thesis with your classmates. It'll give you a little bit of experience doing what I'm doing in the Hills Like White Elephants video, which is just kind of talking about what you're going to write about, kind of talking it through and seeing what comes up when you say it out loud. This is something, again, that you have the chance to do in class, but not necessarily with an online class. So I want to give you that opportunity to sort of talk about what you're going to write about without being in the classroom setting. And to do VoiceThread, you can do it as a video, but you don't need to have a webcam to do it or a microphone for your computer. You can actually just call in on the phone and leave it like it's a voicemail message. So you probably want to do a little preparation of what you're going to say, but I do also want you to have the experience of sort of talking through your ideas on the fly, which doesn't mean just, you know, to wing it, but write down a few notes and then sort of talk through your tentative thesis and how you think you're going to prove it. That's pretty much it for this week. You can turn in an optional draft. I recommend turning in drafts. It's a great opportunity to get my feedback prior to turning in the final. However, if you do turn in a draft, I do expect that when I get my comments back to you that you're going to incorporate them. I understand that you may or may not agree with some of the comments, but you want to make sure you're trying to, you know, get as much of the feedback that I'm giving you incorporated into your final draft as possible. That's going to improve your grade. It's also going to help you practice really having a substantial revision process, which will benefit you in future classes when maybe you aren't able to turn in drafts at every stage, and you'll have to have your own process of, you know, getting feedback somehow. Learning Center is great. You can also submit to the online tutor at the same time as you submit your draft to me, or if you don't get it quite in time to submit the draft to me, then you can always use the Learning Center. And that, yeah, I really expect you, the expectation is that you will incorporate those comments if you turn in the optional draft. And the other thing about drafts is please spell check them before you send it to me. Do a little basic proofreading before you submit. I understand that it's a draft and drafts aren't meant to be perfect, but spell checking, if there are a lot of sentence level or surface errors in a draft, it can be really distracting to me as a reader from the content of your essay, and I don't want that to happen because I really want to be able to give you substantial feedback on the content of your essay, how to improve your thesis, and so on and so forth, and not just, you know, there's a million spelling errors in here, it's driving me crazy, run your spell check. So just do that, and then that takes it out of the equation. And that is now, finally, pretty much it for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. Send me an email. Don't hesitate. I'll talk to you soon.